Ciao, everybody. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone live at 5. My name's Julian Gennady, and I'm going solo again. Um, I'll say because Alejandro has a personal reason, and Justin just doesn't want to come with me today. So let's get into it. Our show today is, as what the title says, coaching shortlist, because we know how much of a dumpster fire, tire fire, wherever you want to call it, we are. We've won 2 games all year. We've lost 3 games and we've drawn 4. So we have 2 wins in 9 matches. And we all know we want Allegri out. We're on that bandwagon. I think I'll say 95% of the Juventus fan base is on that bandwagon. So today we decided to go through the short list of whoever is available. Not just available, but more names that have popped up in links to the club, and we will go through them and see how they fit into what our potential project is, how they fit into the club, if they will even come, and stuff like that. So before we get into it further, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't already, click the bell icon to stay notified. Share the video if you want across all your social media platforms. So before we get into the shortlists, Max Allegri has not been fired. By the way, he's not. He's still at the club. But before we get into potentially new coaches, and we're going to shortlist some names, there have been lots of links. There have been lots of links to many different coaches by many different insiders. I'll put quote unquote, from the likes of the most ridiculous with Conte and Zidane. To others like Tuchel, and then to others like Montero and Carrara. I'll read those last two names out again. Montero, the U23 coach, and Carrara, who hasn't probably coached in about 2 or 3 years. So before we get into the shortlists, we need to understand what the issue is at Juventus again, and I think we all know by this point in our fanhood that we know that Max Allegri is a coach who has lost the dressing room. He has lost the dressing room. The players are not on his side, except for the young players. And I saw that report today. I saw a report saying, "Oh, the young players are siding with Max Allegri." No shit. No shit. The young players are going to side with Allegri because they want to play for Juventus desperately. They want to say, "Yeah, coach, I'll do anything." Of course, they're going to be on the coach's side, no matter what the situation is. Of course, they want to do that. Of course, they're going to be like the teacher's pet. So I don't understand the sentiment behind, "Oh, the young players like the coach." Yeah, no shit. Anyway, so the older, more veteran players, along with Locatelli, they're over. The locker room's gone. The locker room is gone with Max Allegri. It's quite evident. You saw Sunday, so yesterday against Monza. You saw Benfica after you went down a goal, how awful, or even when you conceded the penalty just before that, how awful and uninterested they looked. Salernitana, same garbage. The dressing room's gone. Max Allegri's voice is gone in the dressing room, and I don't blame the players. I don't blame it at all. Who in the modern game wants to sit back and play the way that they do? Who wants to do that in today's game? I mentioned this a couple times already. Dusan Vlahovic does not want to play with his back to goal in a system where he has to be the focal point, hold the ball up. That's not him. For Fiorentina, and I'm going to make this point again later on in the show when I do my short list. At Fiorentina, it was open, progressive football, and he scored 20 plus goals. Now, you could pencil him in for 20 plus goals in Serie A when he was at Fiorentina. Now, who knows under Allegri? You'd hope so, but who knows? 0 goals in the Champions League, 1 open play goal this season. 1 open play goal in 8 matches because he missed the Fiorentina game. 4 goals total. 1 penalty, 2 free kicks, 1 open play goal. Not many clear-cut chances. I think one time this week I will be diving into more advanced stats and advanced metrics to not just use my eye test, but actually going into stats of how the team is progressing, which it's not, um, but how they're looking in terms of their advanced metrics, like expected goals. Are they hitting their targets? Are they even reaching targets? How many balls progression do they have? Dribbles into the final third. I'm going to be doing that sometime this week or next week during the international break. Basically, the first quarter season review. It's not going to be a good one. We already know that. But we have 40 people in here already. Like the video if you haven't already. Please, please, please. Please do so. But we know Max Allegri does not have the trust of the players anymore. It's quite evident. Even when the substitutions he's been made, like, it's not just the way we play anymore. It's the substitutions he's making. It's bringing off Kostic when you're down a goal and you put Danilo in. When you're chasing a game in the Champions League game, you took Milik out, you put Keane in when Milik was your most likely goal scorer. Just every single decision recently since the beginning of the season is a disaster. It has been a disaster. Depending on where we go from here, if Allegri is to be fired, and I think Ale made a video yesterday, I think. Justin or Ali made a couple videos in the past 2 days, and they mentioned that Momblano, of all sources, is saying that Juventus are researching and doing their due diligence for 72 hours, and then they'll make their decision. Bullshit. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. They're not going to make their decision after 3 or 72 hours, because if they were dead serious about this, of a coaching change, they would have fired him yesterday. They would have fired him yesterday. Like that. There's and let's do a comparison now to another top club. Another top club, Bayern Munich, have their worst start in 20 years under Julian Nagelsmann. So there you go. Justin said that today. Sure. I said it was one of you guys. Sorry. I gave you a credit, Justin. Okay, but Bayern Munich, this is the worst start in the past 20 years. Julian Nagelsmann is under the gun here. He has until October to fix it, and he's earned that because of the style he plays and what he's accomplished last year. That's fair. But he has until October. If they drop any more points, he's gone. And a proper club like Bayern Munich will act on that, because they want success. They don't care. They do care about money, but they don't care. They see long-term outlook, where if Nagelsmann continues to drop points and lead us not into the right path to winning trophies, then it is best for us to fire him. We have to pay him out and get a new guy in. Bayern Munich, well-run club. Juventus, lose to Monza, lose to Benfica, tie Salernitana, lose to PSG, tie Fiorentina. When was our last win? It was before. Paredes has been here almost a month, and he hasn't experienced the Juventus win yet. Sorry, he was on the bench with Pogba, or in the stands with Pogba when he first came. But that's the last time Juventus won a football match. August 31st was the last time Juventus won a football match. They haven't won in like 6 games. That's horrendous. And it's not like we're playing the best competition either. So we know that Allegri needs to go. We know that he is past his time here. We thank him for the 5 years prior in his first stint. But last year and the first 9 games of the season, it's poor. So we know he's still going to coach, though. We know he's still going to get this international break, because I don't believe the Momblano rumors at all. And that's going into our short list. And this could be a management problem as well. Actually, it is a management problem. Not it could be. It is. But let's go through the short list. So I've identified one, two, three, four, five, six. Is that no, 7 names. I've identified 7 names. 6 of them have been rumored coaches to come in if in the event Allegri's been fired. And one of them is my guy that I would love to come coach. I'm going to give you pros and cons. And then I'm going to give you my Ali's percentage of if they're going to come. So first and foremost, it's Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel's first. Not the guy I want. Not the guy I want. But his name's been around the media, all that stuff. I know Nico Schira today said Juventus have not mentioned or have not contacted Thomas Tuchel yet. So Nico Schira, prime Juventus source, not said, or has said Juventus have not contacted Tuchel. Fine. I get it. He's expensive and he's pragmatic as well. So Thomas Tuchel is one of the names. He has European experience. He's managed top clubs before. He's managed top egos before. That's a key factor. So he's done that before. He's got a lot of issues though. He usually, when he gets fired or he's gone from the club he's at, he has problems with the management. And he has fallings out with the management. And he only stays at clubs for 2 seasons max. Two and a half seasons. His style is a little bit better than Allegri. Yes, it's still pragmatic, but it's usually a 3-4-3. That's what he was doing at Chelsea. At PSG, he was doing something a little bit different. But he knows how to get the best out of his best players. So that's another pro. Because we do have top players. We do. We have about 4 top players who are actually top players. Vlahovic, Chiesa, Di Maria, Pogba. Those are top players. Okay. More cons to Thomas Tuchel are his wage that he would earn and that he's not Italian. And I hate that I have to say that. But that is a con for if you want to be a Juventus coach. So there's that. So Tommy Tuch's probably not going to be the next coach of Juventus. If Nagelsmann does do poorly with Bayern Munich in the future, Thomas Tuchel is probably going to be the Bayern Munich coach. So there's that. But again, there's lots to like about Tuchel, but there are some things you got to worry about when mentioning Thomas Tuchel. Next, we'll go to Vincenzo Italiano, the current coach of Fiorentina. The pros for Italiano are that he's Italian. He's been at a mid-table-ish team for now, 2 years, I guess? Two and a bit. He got the best out of Dusan Vlahovic with lesser players around him. And he is the type of guy with a young, modern approach. So if you're basing your next 3 years on a project based on youth and playing in the new modern system, you might want to go Italiano route. The obviously there's cons to Italiano. He has never managed a top club. He's never managed top egos or big egos at a club. He doesn't have much European experience. I think they just got into the Conference League this year, and he's already lost 2 games or something really shitty. So there are many question marks to Italiano. Again, the reason I would get Italiano is because he would get the best out of Vlahovic. He plays a 4-3-3, an expansive 4-3-3, and he's Italian, so that would fit the bill as well. But there are major issues with Italiano as well. We don't know if he can manage top egos, and we don't know if he can do it in Europe. And people are going to come out, like Kenzo in here, and someone else is coming at Italiano. Fine, you're coming at his defensive issues. We have defensive issues anyway. Maybe if he has Bremer and he starts Gatti and they get a good relationship going, maybe there's no defensive issues. And Alexandra makes a good point. He'd be a cheaper contract on the books. So again, he has his pros and he has his cons, just like everyone on this list. Next on the list is, I can't even believe I have to say this guy's name, but Antonio Conte. He's not coming. Antonio Conte, I'm going to say right now, all his percentage is 0. He's not coming back. This, at least right now. Firstly, he's not leaving Tottenham when they're 1 point off first place and they're going to plug away in the league, in the Premier League. And Tottenham are going to spend money for him. So that's one thing. Obviously, the pros to Antonio Conte is he is a serial winner. He is a serial winner. Wherever he goes, he's successful. That's a fact. The way he plays football is somewhat eye-catching. It's not the most expansive, but it is eye-catching when he hits you on the break. And he has the right players. He does play the 3 at the back, so we're gonna have to fix that issue right away. If he this is all hypotheticals. If he were to come in, we would have to play 3 at the back. That's his standard. That's what he likes to do. So we'd have to switch everything around, get more players in to play center back. Okay. So we'd have to spend more money, which might be an issue, which leads to one of his cons. One of his cons is he doesn't stay at clubs very long, and there's a reason why. Because he doesn't get along with management. So, do we want Conte back? Do we want Conte's horrible European record? Do we want, well, not that I don't care about the money being paid because it's not my money, but does the club want to pay Antonio Conte crazy wages? So I think we should get Conte out of our heads right now. At least right now. Because he ain't coming right now. Next on the list is Montero, former Juventus player, so he checks that off. He's currently the under-23 coach. And he doesn't have much coaching experience at all. So obviously, the pro for Montero is he'll be cheap. He's coming out of the U23 setup. And this is not the answer. We went down this path before. We had Andrea Pirlo, who was the U23 guy, rushed into a situation which wasn't good for him and his career path. So I don't like that Montero's even being mentioned. But at the end of the day, he has been mentioned, and I hope that it's not true. But the Ali's percentage, I'm going to say, is 25% chance he becomes the next coach because our board have no idea what they're doing and they're panicking. There is a follow if you subscribe to the channel and if you have the bell icon notified or clicked to notify you with our latest videos, tomorrow there is going to be a hot take video coming out. I don't know who it's by. If Justin's in here and he's saying, yeah, it's by me, then Justin made the hot take video. I don't know who it was, though. Either Justin or Ale. Also, 75 people, only 22 likes. Please like the video. Please like it. It helps us. Chanitum keeps asking if Allegri's been sacked. No, he's not been sacked. Next on the list is Zinedine Zidane. Zizou. Again, not coming. Ali's percentages. 0. He's not coming to the club. He is not going to come coach Juventus. He costs a lot of money. We got a dislike, I guess, because I said no to Zidane. He's going to coach France. He's going to go coach France, and that's that. He'll cost too much money. And do we even know if Zidane is a good coach outside of managing egos? Do we actually know if Zinedine Zidane can coach and develop players? Because at Real Madrid, he stepped up. He took over that situation where it was not good at the time. He had Ronaldo, Benzema, Bale, Kroos, Modric, Casemiro, Varane, Ramos, Carvajal, Marcelo. I'm not going to lie. you and I could probably coach that team to a Champions League victory. So I get it. I get why there's an allure with Zidane because he won the however many Champions Leagues in a row, and he came back. He took a break and then he came back and did he won again. I don't see him as the type of guy, Zidane, to develop players because I haven't seen it. I don't know how you do with this current Real Madrid team. How do we do with developing Camavinga, Tchouameni, and all the young guys coming up now? So, everyone likes Zidane. I'm just, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of getting Zidane, especially if you have to overpay, and then you're gonna f yourself even more. I'm just not. I'm not in that boat right now. I'm not in that boat. Anthony Gueich is saying it's a pointless conversation, buddy. I get it, but it's International Week. What else are we gonna talk about? So he's saying basically we're having a pointless live stream right now. But what else are we gonna talk about? Anyway, moving on to the next candidate. It's an interesting one, and this is my realistic go-to guy. This is my realistic go-to name. Bobby Mancini from the Italian national team. Bobby Mancini from the Italian national team, I think he has European pedigree, obviously. International experience abroad. He's coached top clubs and he's managed big egos. He ticks a lot of boxes. He plays, he shows, he has shown that he is able to keep up with the modern game. He has an expansive 4-3-3. Did it work with Italy? It did, and then it didn't, obviously, because he lost a bunch of players. If he has players that will suit his style, he will win. And I believe that. And everyone's going to blame Mancini for not making the World Cup. Okay, Jorginho, score your penalty shots and then the World Cup. I get it. We should have beat Macedonia, whatever, but we were down bad back then. Or Italy was down bad back then. I understand. I would bring Mancini to Juventus if the guy I really want is not here or is not available. So for me, one issue with Mancini is that he will be expensive, and he will be. He will be, but I think he's the guy you go to. Italian, so you're okay with that. And I see RB Comps keep saying, "Give us Tommy Tuchel." I don't know. I gave you my spiel about Tommy Tuchel already. Tommy Tukes. I don't see Tommy Tukes as the project. I don't see him going throughout the project. I think he'll just get into a disagreement with the manager or management, and then he'll be a waste of money at that point too. So the next candidate, who was it again? Not my guy. I'm going to say my guy for last. I think there's one more that I had on my list. So after Bobby Mancini, I forget. I wrote him down, but I don't know where it is. I'll just go to my guy now. Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon. That is my guy. That is the guy who I want. He has obviously cons to him. His cons are he's probably going to want a good, stable situation. And he's destined for a top club ready to rock. At this point in time, we're not ready to rock. And he's not Italian. However, he has European experience coaching in the Champions League. He's young and he's a modern coach. He has a very, very good win record. I know it's in Portugal, but it translates to the Champions League as well. He got into the round of 16 of the Champions League last year. He develops young players. If you go watch Marcus Edwards, if you go watch those two central midfielders he uses, the Uruguayan kid and the Japanese kid. There's a center back on that team that's young and very, very promising. Forget his name. Number 21 on the right center back. Pedro Porro, he's developed into a premier right back in the world. Just no one knows it yet. But I would do many things. I would do many things to try and release Ruben Amorim from his sporting contract and get him to Juventus. I don't know how much that would cost. And I don't know, this management's not even going to look to him. I guarantee it. But Juventus is a step up from Sporting. We can pay him the money. We can, because he's inexpensive right now, so we'll give him a little pay bump as well. He's got great ideas, great philosophy of the game, a good winning record. I think he has 84 wins in 116 matches, including Champions League. He has European experience in the Champions League with Sporting. And I think he's a good fit. That's the guy I would target. Similar to what Chelsea did, they went in a different approach. They went for modern philosophy football. They got out Tommy Tukes, and they got Graham Potter. And I get it. And I get why. People might say Todd Bowley is crazy. He is crazy. But he knows what he wants, and he goes out and gets it. And that's how we should act. So those are some candidates. Some of them I don't want. Some of them have just been mentioned are around the around insiders. I wish I had pictures to illustrate what I mean, but I don't, and I don't want to bother Ale today. 76 people, only 33 likes, and 2 dislikes. So get the likes in, people. RB Comps is asking, would you say completely no to Tuchel? I'm gonna be honest with, out of all these names, I would probably take 4 or 5 of them out of, like, I would hire 4 or 5 of them. I would hire Amorim, I would hire Tuchel, I would probably do Italiano, I would probably do Zidane, even though he'd be really expensive and I don't trust him as yet. And I would definitely do Mancini. Khalid saying you should include Tudor and Ivan Juric. I mean, I can right now. I can comment on them. Igor Tudor has turned Marseille into a relevant club again in France, so that's good. Obviously, who's the coach last year? Sampaoli? No, what's his name? Yeah, Sampaoli. So Igor Tudor's just made what Sampaoli did at Marseille a little bit better. Igor Tudor, I don't know if he'll come back. Because obviously there was a big disagreement amongst the manager or management and him when he left, because Pirlo didn't want Tudor there. He wanted his boys. And Tudor was like, what the hell's going on here? I thought I was going to have a bigger role. So Tudor's doing great things with Marseille. Not done very well in Europe, obviously. As we know, Marseille's 0-2, I believe. Same as us. And he's very inexperienced at this time. But he does play attractive football. With Ivan Juric, I'm just going to say no. Like, yes, he's doing decent things with Torino, but at the same time, I think there's many, many better options. I'm lost in the chat here. I think someone just brought up Inzaghi's name. I really hope not Inzaghi. I really hope not Inzaghi, because he can't even coach Inter. Anthony Guechi, what about a Conte return? What about a return for Deschamps when Zidane takes his place? What about Gasperini all next season? Gasperini, no. Not that I don't appreciate what he's done for Atalanta, but I just think he's a system coach, and the players we bought are probably not suited to that system. Um, who else did you say here? You said a lot of names. Deschamps. If you go watch our podcast episode 2 of season 2, it came out Saturday. It's on this channel. I mentioned Deschamps, and Ali shot it down right away. He's like, nah, he's just as bad as Allegri. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, probably. It's just probably still better than Allegri at this point. So, and then you said Conte. I spoke about Conte earlier. He's the best out of our options. He's the best in terms of pure serial winner. Um, Stylistically, he can still win or with the style he plays, and he gets the best out of shit players. And we still have some shit players. And then yes, I understand this is all hypothetical talk today. It is the first day of the international break, so I thought we might as well talk about potential coaches that could come in. Okay. So, now that we've done that, I want to go through what do I want to go through here? How do I explain this? I want to go through ranking. I'm going to go through all the coaches that we've mentioned and rank them in order of how likely they will come. So, I think Conte's 0. I think Zidane is 0. I think Amorim is 0. So those 3 that I mentioned, I don't think they'll come to the club at all. People are saying wild coaches here too, like Unai Emery. Sure. I wouldn't want him because I don't think I think we need a coach now that plays a modern game. That's what I believe we really need now. I'm done with pragmatic coaches. I'm not saying Antonio Conte is the most expensive coach, but he gets the job done, and he does. If you watch Tottenham, they do sit back a lot, but when they go forward, it makes sense. Like Kulusevski, Richarlison, Kane, Son, like they got good players to do what they do. So out of the names I've mentioned, Zidane, no, like 0% chance of coming. Tuchel, no. Zidane, he's not coming. Conte is definitely not coming, and Amorim is definitely not coming. So there's 3 off the bat that are not coming. Tommy Tukes, Nico Schira today said, and I will reiterate what I said because we didn't have many people at the time, but he said that we have not contacted Tuchel yet. So he might be a name that is bandied about in the management circles, but as of right now, we've not contacted him yet. So I'll give him a 20% chance of coming. Actually, that seems high. No, I'll give him a 20% chance. I'll give Vincenzo Italiano a 25% chance of coming. Just because he's Italian and because he's an up-and-coming coach and he's cheap. I will give Montero a 25% chance of being hired because our management is cheap. And they'll just say, hey, you're hired. Step up to the big leagues. And I'm going to give Bobby Mancini the highest out of all the coaches available, I'll quote unquote, or have been mentioned. I'm going to give Bobby Mancini the highest percentage of him coming. I'll say 30% chance. Only because I don't know if he really wants to coach Italy anymore. And he's Italian, and he has the pedigree to coach this team at this current time. So those are my percentages on them. I'm seeing Hansi Flick. I think he coaches Germany. I'm pretty sure he coaches Germany, and they're about to go into a World Cup, so I think he's going to stay there for a bit. I see Wayne Rooney. I think he's in USA right now, building his resume at Derby County. Joachim Löw, no, no, thank you. Yusuf Murmo asks a great question. What type of coach do you think we need with the current squad that we have? I think we need an expensive coach, modern day coach. We have the players that can play that kind of style. We do not have a player that suits pragmatic football. We don't have players that can defend well for not 80 minutes, soak up pressure, and then go hit on a counterattack. We don't. We don't have the speed right now. We don't have the defensive-minded players to do so. We need a coach that wants to dominate the ball. We need a coach that wants to play the wings and play intricate football around the box. Because Dusan Vlahovic is not a player to play on a counterattacks. He's not fast enough. Nor is he a player that you want to hold on to the ball because his touch isn't good enough at the moment. He needs to be a guy who finishes chances inside the box. He needs to be the fox in the box, and he needs to poach goals. That's what he needs to do. That's the type of player he was at Fiorentina. So I think at this moment in time, we need a guy who will get the best out of Dusan Vlahovic. Am I hinting at Italiano a little bit? Because he's cheap and he's used to Serie A and he's had Vlahovic before. And he made Vlahovic successful. But I don't think he has the pedigree to take on a team of egos, which we have. I keep seeing the most crazy names in the chat here. Like Sean Dyche, really? Domenico Tedesco, the guy got fired from RB Leipzig. Oof. Anyway, we need to get the best out of Di Maria. Again, Di Maria is not a player that you make defend and then go say, hey, win the game by yourself. He's not that guy. He's 34 years old. He's not that guy anymore. We saw Chiesa all last year. He's not that guy either. Chiesa looked his best when he was dribbling the ball. Like, prime example, when Pirlo had Chiesa getting the ball in the attacking third on the front foot, that guy was untouchable. You could not touch that dude. Case in point, when he murdered Napoli on the right side, when he murdered Milan on the right side there, when he took the ball in the Champions League on the left against Porto. Like, I can name every single time. Like, he is unplayable when he receives the ball facing the goal in the attacking third. Allegri does not have that type of progression in his game where you build out from midfield to the attacking third. Allegri doesn't do that. Allegri is get the ball to our best players and hope shit happens. There's no progression. Pirlo, there was progression. He obviously didn't have the capabilities to maintain egos. And he didn't have the experience to manage big games. Ball progression is the name of the game in this time, in this age, in 2022 to play football. Imagine being a pragmatic coach, having Pogba, Locatelli, and Paredes in your midfield. Kenzo's mentioning a name here. Urs Fischer from Union Berlin. They're first in the Bundesliga right now. I saw a stat today that's interesting about Union Berlin. They have like 15 or 17 goals or something this season on like 4.9 expected goals. So they are way outperforming their expected goals. And I don't think that's sustainable. So I think that's just a blip in the action right now. And De Zerbi has gone to Brighton. Brighton and Hove Albion. He's the new coach for them. So we can't get him. So basically, what I'm saying to you is what we need in this team with this crop of players. We need an expansive modern coach that has ball progression in their games and gets our players on the front foot in the attacking third. Where do we find that? We find that with, out of the names I've mentioned, Ruben Amorim, Vincenzo Italiano, Bobby Mancini. So, I don't know if it's doable. What'd you say, Justin? I didn't see. Justin, type it again. I actually didn't see it. It's going too fast. And Anthony Iguachi saying Mancini is a Juve supporter too. Great. So apparently Allegri was too, but he's shit. So I don't want to see that. I don't care. If you're a Juventus supporter and you make the team do well, great. Kudos to you. We need 4 more likes for 50 people. Come on. This one is about the hypothetical Allegri replacement. Wayne Brewster brings up Fabio Cannavaro. Again, lack of experience in this league in terms of coaching. Don't get me wrong, he's obviously an Italian legend, but lack of experience in this league as a coach. I don't know. I think he's in China for a bit. I don't know how much you can take away from that. I think when it comes down to the management, and if it was up to everyone except Agnelli. So if Nedved had a choice, if Cherubini and Arrivabene were all in the same room, and they excluded Agnelli in this decision, I think they'd go for Bobby Mancini, because I don't think Arrivabene would accept bringing Conte back. Justin, am I reading that comment? I don't know. Am I reading what you think? Okay, I will. Justin says that his best option, if he had a choice, would be Mancini, Conte, Italiano, in that order. But back to what I was saying. If you had Arrivabene, if you had Cherubini, and if you had Nedved making this choice, I would guarantee you it's either Conte or Mancini. And it's not going to be Conte. That's my opinion on the situation. If it's Agnelli, then Allegri's staying, which is happening. And if that's not happening, then he's going to say, "You'll get some other cheap guy." I promise that's what would happen. And if not, prove me wrong. At some point, we need the president of the team to be the president and not the director of football. Agnelli, you need to stay and handle the commercial side of things and leave it to Nedved, leave it to Cherubini to identify the next coach. I don't even want Arrivabene to pick the next coach because he's just going to say get the cheapest guy as well. So at this point, obviously it's all hypothetical, like I was saying, but my top 3, if we're going top 3s, I think I'm going Bobby Mancini. No, that's wrong. I'm going Ruben Amorim, Bobby Mancini, and then I would say Conte as well, but I know he's not coming, so I can't say Conte. I'll say Italiano. So Amorim, Mancini, Italiano. That's my top 3. Julian, check your texts. Okay. Oh, okay. So, Justin's comment from the past that I missed. So I'm sorry, Justin. Reminder, every time Julian says there's a 0% chance of somebody coming to Juventus, Vlahovic, Pogba, he's been wrong. So you wanted to put me under the bus there. So, whatever. Whatever, Justin. I told you what I do. I told you what I do. I do RJMs. Reverse jinx method. But yeah, what do you guys think? Okay, I'm going to do this again. I always do this. What is your realistic coach to come and coach Juventus once Allegri is finally gone? Realistic. Don't say Zidane because he's not coming. And don't say Conte. What is your realistic coach to come in and replace Allegri? Khalid says Italiano. Fair. And by the way, I'm going to tease. Justin brought up a cool segment we'll be doing in future lives when we're together. So stay tuned for those whenever we're back on together. Okay, so here we go. My goodness, here we go. Richie says Tuchel. Kenzo says Montero. Italiano for Raffle. Mancini for ZC. Italiano for Rod. Gasparini Forza Juve. Tuchel, Royal Killa. Okay, so we're getting a lot of Mancinis. Okay, so KT's bringing up a weird little scenario here. Montero until the World Cup and then after Deschamps once he leaves the French national team. Get the likes in, people. Get some likes in. Someone says Simeone. I think he's the highest paid coach in the world right now. I'll do this one. Boom. And again, people say realistic names. I just saw Michael Arteta. Like, that's not realistic. I'm seeing Landucci, Sam Allardyce. Like, that's not funny. Like, Marino's asking, do you believe there's still a chance that Allegri will get sacked during the break? No, he won't get sacked during this break. You can believe Luca Monblano all you want, but no, it's not happening. I think management is really divided right now, and I think it's really about money versus what we need as a coach. I think Dino Hrustic, he always joins. I don't think he's a Juventus fan. I think he's a Milan fan. I forget if we brought that up before, but I believe that's what he is. I would love Pioli because he's doing wonders with a crap squad. So good for him. But yeah, I'm on the Mancini train. I hope he just, you know what I hope? I hope Italy do poorly again in this, which I think they will anyway. I think I hope Italy do poorly in this next little, whatever, what was this called again? Nations League? I hope they do poorly in this Nations League window, which again, I think they will do poorly. And I think Mancini just says, nah, I'm done. Finito, I'm out of this. I want to just do club football again. And I hope we have a brain and say, yes. Bring him in. And I just saw Jurgen Klopp, and I'm like, no, he's not coming. Again, he just signed a 2-year extension. He's not getting fired, so we're not doing that. We tried today to bring in some realistic options and just names that are linked to the club. Mr. Knob says, I don't like Mancini. I don't want somebody that has Inter's history. I mean, okay. Misak, one of our members, saying it's going to be someone that played for us. Bet on it. Okay. Jerry Girardi says, thank you, Julian. Mancini is a bottle job and wins games 1-0 parking the bus. He did well at Inter because they were shit at the time. They were shit at that time. Okay, but did you see what he did with Man City, and did you see what he did with Italy when he had proper players? Anyway, I don't want to get into arguments on this stuff. What is that name? Dominique brings up a good point, or a good comment. He's saying, my feeling is Allegri stays and Nedved goes, which would be absolutely catastrophic in my opinion. Because I think Nedved is the only one in that management group that demands elite, like an elite mentality there. Winning mentality. I think he's the only one that demands it. That dude left at the halftime at one of the games recently because he couldn't stand it anymore. And I know it looks bad, but that's what he demands. Make him president. Or make him the sporting director, whatever. And I'm not just simping for my favorite player of all time. I need Nedved to have more of a say in what goes on. And you know that Nedved knows what he's talking about. Nathan Quadade, the Allegri is not fired. However, Nedved knows what's going on because when he talked about Pirlo in that All or Nothing, he said Pirlo was not scared to bring an attack-minded team to the Camp Nou and expect to dominate possession and dominate the game with the ball. And he did that, and we won 3-0. It's true. It's true. He understands where it's going, where football is going now, and Agnelli doesn't know what on the field product is. He doesn't know, and everybody has no idea what is needed to win. Sorry, my mom just asked me what I'm doing for Thanksgiving. And Cherubini is still very new at his role. So Nedved is the guy with the most experience on the field as a winner, off the field as a winner, and he knows where the game's transitioning. Or already has transitioned. We're already way behind where it's gone. We're already way behind. And again, I'm not trying to boost Pirlo. I'm not trying to boost what Pirlo did. No chance. Because we still came fourth. Like, it's not like we have to celebrate fourth. No. But if Nedved's the guy to go and Allegri stays, we already know there's a massive issue at the club, but you knew that there was a massive power struggle. So I really hope that he doesn't get fired or leaves, like gets pushed out. And you might not agree. People here might not agree with me, and that's fine. Everyone has their opinion. I might not know everything about what the upper management and what goes on there, and that's fine. But from what I know, Nedved is the guy with the most experience on and off the field. I see a lot of people aren't liking the Mancini shout. Again, who else are you going to get? Sorry again with my phone. So there you go. Johnny's saying Nedved, he needs to be the first out the door. See, people have different opinions on it. People have different opinions on the situation. Bot leader saying McKennie's passing accuracy. Yeah, once a proper coach with an expansive way of philosophy of playing the game, modern philosophy of playing the game, McKennie's toast. Like McKennie is toast at this club. If we bring in an Italiano, if we bring in a, I don't know, just like I said, a modern coach, he's toast. He can't pass the ball. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and what transpires over the course of the season. I think Allegri's not leaving anywhere. I think we're stuck in the mud at the moment. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Get 2 more likes in here, people. 2 more likes. Like the video twice more, and we get 60, which is good. I'm happy with that. Aldo's saying McKennie is toast anyway. I think he's struggling. Yeah, but like, we won't have a guy who thinks, oh, I can just cross it in and hope McKennie gets into the box. Otherwise, he's useless. Forza Juve is saying McKennie scored in the Champions League. Great. So have a lot of people. Like, I weird. Anyway, I think we're going to sign off today. That's enough. I got to go coach anyway myself. My under 13s and under 17s. So I'm going to go try and provide an expansive modern way of thinking the game to my teams tonight. So thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of the week. We have lives every night, I believe. I believe tomorrow night we have a live. Wednesday we do. Thursday there's an after dark. And Friday there is a no live. Friday is the interview that I'm doing with a special guest. So stay tuned for that. The way you do that, you click the bell icon, stay notified. And you like this video, you better. You subscribe to this channel, you better. And enjoy the international week. International break at least. I think Italy plays on the 23rd. I believe anyway. Canada plays on the 23rd. So stay tuned for that. And we'll see you later. Ciao, everybody.